Alright, let's take a look at the kingdoms of life, and more specifically, how we classify them between prokaryotes and eukaryotes, all for your GCSE chemistry. That should not be GCSE chemistry, sorry, all for your GCSE biology course. Alright, the kingdoms of life. We mainly have 5 kingdoms of life plus 1 bonus. We have animals, we have our plants. You probably know both of these really well. We also have fungi, which up to here you're probably fine with. We have something called prokaryotes. We also have bacteria. And we also have viruses. Can you guess which one of these 6 is a non-living one? If you guess viruses, you're correct. It's non-living. And near the end of this video, I explain why they're not. And you're likely to get an exam question that goes something along like, why are viruses non-living? And for like 2 marks, you might have to explain why. But except viruses, we have 5 kingdoms that are living, kingdoms of life. But we classify them between prokaryotes and eukaryotes. How do you think we would classify them? Which one would be grouped together? These 4 are grouped together, and these are called eukaryotes. That just leaves bacteria all alone in its own category of prokaryotes. Can you guess why? What makes bacteria so special? Well, look at the commonalities between things in the eukaryote section. We have animals and plants. Maybe you don't know much about fungi or prokaryotes, but at least with animals and plants, you know they have a cell. What am I saying? They have a nucleus. They have a distinct nucleus. So, eukaryotes, simply put, are just cells that contain their genetic material, DNA, enclosed in a nucleus. In other words, it has a nucleus. So if you write that out on the next page, we can say eukaryotes, this is the definition that you want to know, are cells that contain their genetic material in a genetic material, also known as DNA, enclosed within a nucleus. In other words, it has a nucleus. Prokaryotes then, let me switch the color just for some difference. Prokaryotes, remember prokaryotes are still living things. Prokaryotes are cells that do not contain their genetic material in a nucleus. Enclosed. Wait, sorry, I should say that do not have their genetic material enclosed in a nucleus. In other words, does not have a nucleus. So, if we look back at our previous slide, kingdoms of life, animals, plants, fungi, and prokaryotes, they're all eukaryotes. And what do they have in common? Well, what do plants and animals have in common? They both have a nucleus. Bacteria, no nucleus, and viruses are not living. Alright, hopefully that makes sense. Let's take a look at a bit more detail at prokaryotes, the ones that do not have a nucleus. And the example is a bacteria. If I draw out a quick sketch, a really rough sketch of a prokaryote, I'll look something along the lines of this. And we can have another loop within it. And they have their DNA enclosed within a loop of DNA. Just like a loop of DNA. They also have something that looks like a bit like dots. And these are called plasmids. Now plasmids, they also carry genes, so they also carry DNA. Specifically, this is the key part, they carry genes specifically for antibiotic resistance, which will in turn raise its chances of survival. So it has a loop of DNA, but also plasmids, specifically for antibiotic resistance. And they also have a cell membrane, and they also have a bacterial cell wall. So this is going to be our bacterial cell wall. And of course, they're also going to have a cell membrane. And remember, the cell membrane controls what enters and leaves the cell. That's pretty much for prokaryotes. Well, I'll make a new video specifically on prokaryotes and eukaryotes. More specifically about like prokaryotes, bacteria, and in a future time. But for this video, just to sum off, why are viruses non-living? I'm not going to make a separate video on Miss H. Gren because it's pretty easy. But essentially, in order to be considered living, you need to have all these things. So movement, respiration, sensitivity, homeostasis, which is the new one that gets added when you graduate from year 8, homeostasis, growth, reproduction. I added another R. Excretion, and nutrition. More specifically, nutrition is the intake of nutrition, and homeostasis is just regulation of internal conditions. For example, your body temperature is a consistent 36.5 degrees. That's an example, so more common in this definition would be regulation of internal conditions. Everything else is pretty self-explanatory, right? Then why are viruses non-living? Well, they don't tick off all the boxes of this list. Although viruses, so you might start here, actually, let me type this out just to save some time, because if I write every single word out individually, it's probably going to take a while. So, let me just, yes, switch out the color. Although viruses may reproduce, if I can type, only, no, let's structure it in a different way. Viruses may have some of the characteristics which living organisms have. Notably, they can reproduce. However, even that is limited. Viruses can only reproduce when within other living cells. Furthermore, they have no cell structures. And you can just list out some of the things from this Miss H. Grant that they don't have. So they don't have cell structures. They also do not sense their surroundings or excrete, all of which are things living organisms can do. Living organisms undertake, that's probably a better word. Therefore, it is not living. So basically just add some facts of your own and just essentially just talk about this. They might have some of it, but they don't have everything that living organisms have. Living organisms will check off every single part of this list. They will reproduce, they will take in nutrition, they will excrete, they will have homeostasis, they will sense the environment, they will respire, and they'll move around. which viruses only do some of, making it non-living. Thanks for watching.